Welcome back to another video. I'm Nick Golis, owner of Family Canine Dog Training. This is going to be another installment in the Conversations with a Dog Trainer video, and today we're going to talk about reactive dogs, causes, types of reactivity, and some things that you either should not do or should do and maybe are not doing. Let's take a look at this. First, let's just break up reactivity and what it is. It's an overstimulation and an overexcitement, and it can come in a couple of different flavors if we want to simplify and generalize. The first flavor is that happy, silly reactivity. It's the dog that just gets overstimulated, doesn't know what to do with himself, wants to insert himself into everything.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Can I pet your dog?
Leave it. He's training right now. Thank you.
That's no, it doesn't have
thank
to.
you.
I'm so sorry.
It's not a big deal. The other one, not as much fun. It's that fearful type of reactivity. It's the type where the dog is in conflict. It thinks it has to defend itself. It also wants to run away at the same time. Maybe it's learned through trial and error that behaving aggressively is going to help solve what its perceived problem is. So with reactive dogs, we always come back to a few basic things, namely socialization, obedience, focus, and where the sun shines for your dog. So in terms of socialization, a lot of people think that when they're socializing their dogs, they're going to want to take their dog out to interact with each and every dog and each and every person, and we're going to call that socialization. And yes, I'm using air quotes. That is not proper socialization. That is giving your dog an infection in the mind of what socialization should look like. In other words, I must insert myself everywhere. So then you're going to see that overstimulated dog over time, okay? What we have to do is we have to show our dogs that sometimes socialization, most times really, socialization just means we're out in the world and there's things going on around us and not everything requires an oh my God level reaction. So I'll show you some clips where I've got my own dog around clients' dogs. I've got clients' dogs around other clients' dogs. And that version of socialization is just everyone's kind of hanging out and doing their thing. Think of it being in line at Costco or Starbucks. You're not touching everyone next to you. You're not trying to talk to everyone next to you. Everyone's just kind of in their own little box. Okay, we're not scared of each other. We're not bothered by one another. We're just patiently going through our day, running through the motions.
Do you see what she does with her head? I'm here. And then you can just keep paying her for that.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Look at your dog now lying down. Okay, 3-4 feet from Skyla.
Yeah.
So by working with her and by directing her mind and her energy, she's able to be in a calm state near her. I mean, that's really significant. That is really, really significant. And that's what we want. That's the same thing I want from my dog who wants to play with everyone. It's just take a beat. Take a beat. And then if we deem it's okay, we'll say it's okay. And if not, right? As a trainer, you learn to watch the in-betweens, not just the performance of a command. Because that's one thing, that the dog can do the command and it's useful and we need it. But when we're not asking our dog to do something, that really tells us our progression level with the dog. That really tells us if we're going the right way, that she's choosing on her own to disconnect, that she's more focused on you versus what she looked like at our consult or at our drop-off.
We could have been here for 22 hours.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, she was hell on wheels. She really was. And because of her physicality, right? So, so that's something that you really want to pay attention to. And that's just like before when I asked you to step back from your dog, because we didn't ask her for anything. She's just predisposed now to, right? So look at what it does for your dog's emotional state. She's able now to have a joyous, happy moment with you instead of a head full of steam of go, go, go. So it's absolutely the definition of win-win. Your life will now be easier with your dog, but your dog's life will be a lot less stressful around other dogs. And again, provided we play by the rules and we don't allow those space invaders in to just pick at her nerves, because that's just not fair. Okay? So this trickles down into where does the sun shine for my dog? In other words, where does my dog find its joy during the day? If the highlight of your dog's day is going to the dog park or going out on a walk with you and then encountering and meeting every dog and every person, then you're last on the list. You're just the delivery system. You're like Uber Eats getting the dog to what it wants in order to satisfy itself. Now, if that's what you want for your dog and you're happy with that, it's not for me to tell you otherwise. But if you want to help avoid or resolve reactivity issues, we have to change this around. Quite frankly, I think it also leads to a much more satisfying relationship with our dogs. So I'm going to show you a clip where my dog is playing with another client's dog. They're similar in temperament. They're well matched. You can do this too. You can go over to a friend's house with your dog and let your dogs play together without having to let your dog stop and interact with every other dog in the street, rather than going to a dog park or a doggy daycare. And you'll see my dog interacting. And then in the next clip, what you're going to see is myself with my dog, probably 15 to 20 minutes later, in a lesson now with another client's dog, and her dog is dog aggressive. You're not going to see my dog trying to play with her dog. You're not going to see her dog trying to attack my dog. And we stood there and talked close to an hour, just chick, 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 like this the whole time. We were done training. We were at the end of our course, and I was just explaining some very important concepts to her. So it was just a lot of theory, and we're standing around talking. But while we're talking, our dogs are getting continuous reinforcement of what is required of them in these contexts. Now, dogs are very context driven. Dogs pick their cues from specific places. Think of what happens to your dog when you go to pick up the leash and the dog runs to the door. The dog gets excited. Or if you have a dog who's afraid to go out and you go and pick up the leash, the dog runs and hides. Similarly, if you go into the drawer where you keep the dog's nail trimmers versus if you go to get the peanut butter jar, right? Dogs are context driven. So if the framework in your dog's mind, if the context is such that when I'm around other dogs, this is what I do, and it's just fireworks going off, then that's what happens. If we rebuild that framework, right? This is training, rebuilding frameworks. Just go out there and have your dog focus on you. Play with your dog, obedience train your dog, stand around and do nothing with your dog. I do all of those things with my dog and with my clients' dogs. And what they're learning in all of those situations is all the other stuff is just background noise. That's a very important concept. But it is not for us to place that demand on the dog unless we've taken the time and delivered the clarity to the dog so the dog understands that that's background noise. That's my responsibility to the dog in training, be it my own dog or clients' dogs. Some dogs get locked into a pattern of silliness to the extreme. We can take a little dog named Hadley as an example. And you'll see her coming out of the car when the owner dropped her off for training. And she's barking and barking and barking.
Asked her, what are you going on about? She wouldn't be able to answer you.
Well, we see that in the house. She'll see something or hear.
She doesn't even know what she's barking for. She's just locked in this overstimulated mode where it's just 15 on 10, just pop, 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 pop. And then we walk her in and I tell the owners here, just put her on her place for a second. And they put her on place and she's barking and she's bouncing around and it's just pure hecticness. If I had to pick a single word, the dog was hectic.
Go to your bed. Sit.
So if I'll just grab her. The poor dog, in her mind, the wheels are spinning so fast. And what I want to do is I want to teach the dog to just slow down, just to focus. So I trained her. And I think I've got some clips where you'll see me taking her out to a local mall and we're walking by. It was a nice day. We're walking by tons of people. She's minding her own business. People are doing their thing. She's doing hers. We're happy together. That's all we need. To resolve that kind of reactivity, you're just talking about a dog who's so hectic and in overdrive. She just needs someone to take her by the hand to help her calm her mind. And obedience was wonderful for that. Then I've got a bunch of dogs, a bunch of clips. Dogs on Prozac, dogs on all kinds of medication, dogs with fear aggression, dogs that are locked into really unhealthy behavioral patterns. How did they get there? Improper training, trying to use medication solely to resolve things, lack of proper socialization, Go and watch my video on forced socialization if you want to understand this in detail. And sometimes it's just trying to force the dog to be something it isn't. But fundamentally, we have to teach our dogs not to react, but also we have to teach our dogs to focus on us.
He's working. Yep.
Two reactive dogs for fight now.
Right.
Major victory.
Yes. 1,000,000%.